Hey guys, I'm so happy that you've joined me again today. I am so excited. I'm pumped up. I'm pumped up to be a part of the Ultimate Woman's Group. Even though I'm not a woman, I am so excited about the source using my life to help make a positive impact on the lives of women because women have given so much to me and this is my opportunity to give back. So look, thank you for joining, for being a part of this group. It's starting to spread throughout the entire social media network. People are hearing about it, and women's lives are being impacted positively by the conversations that you are sharing with them through this channel. Now, look, I wanted to go over the mission and the vision of this group so that you will be inspired by it and be able to share with other women the mission and vision. Quite simply, the mission is to liberate women from their mental prison of appearances, introducing them to what it truly means to be free. Now, because I work exclusively with women, I get a chance to listen to women intensely almost all the time. And one thing that I can share with you with absolute certainty is that the average woman is a prisoner of appearances. In other words, the average woman believes it's more important to look the part than to actually have the part. Or it's more important that you don't let them see you sweat than it is for people to know the reality about where you are. And because of it, women wear the mask on a regular basis, and behind the mask, there's suffering, there's pain, there's depression, there's agony, there's disappointment. And look, this group is about getting women to be able to come out of that prison and to discover what it truly means to be free. You're not free until you can really say to yourself that you really don't give a damn what other people think about you. You are now focusing on being true and sincere to the source and what the source would have you to do in this world and with your life. Let's look at the vision. The vision is this: is a new woman's liberation movement composed of millions of free-willed women working together to help other women reunite with their true will. Now, this thing about true will is something, because when a woman finds her true will, she finds her true self. And when she finds her true self, she finds her happiness, her passion, her excitement for life, and then everything begins to make sense. Wherever in your life things are not making sense, it's because you're outside of your true will. Our vision is that by freeing women from their mental prison of keeping up appearances, then they're going to get a chance to be free enough to reunite with their true will. Now, as you also know, I've been going over the 5 principles that this group is rooted in. And what I want to do is summarize all 5 and then give you a simple way of looking at each one. And so let's start with the first principle. The first principle is everything you don't say that you really want to say, you will eventually have to say. Remember when I went over that one? Let's call that one the just say it principle. Listen, you know for a fact when you don't say what you really want to say, you go home and that conversation is still running inside your head. In fact, that conversation becomes like a splinter in your mind and it won't let you rest until you get out what you had to say. So let's practice the just say it principle. Say it when you have to say it and stop walking away with it still being held inside of you and it making you sick and full of stress and everything else. You are going to start practicing the just say it principle. Let's look at principle number 2. Every conversation you run from you will eventually have to run to. Every conversation you run from, you will eventually have to run to. Let's call that principle stand up to the conversation principle. The stand up to the conversation principle. Listen, becoming a mature woman is all about the power that you have to stand up to certain conversations. You know, when we were children, we ran from a lot of conversations. But as you become more mature, you grow and you start having confidence in yourself. The way that you gain and build momentum in your confidence is to stand up to the conversations that you've been afraid of. We are going to start practicing the stand up to the conversation principle. Let's go to principle number 3. Until you say what you mean and mean what you say, you haven't really said anything at all. We're going to call that the speak transparently principle. Now remember, I talked to you about how women normally have layers and layers in their communication, like what they say is not actually what they mean. And so what happens is there's no transparency in the communication. The results that they're looking for in their life, they don't get because there are too many layers and they're expecting the people in their life to just figure everything else out. When you learn to practice the speak transparently principle, you can be clear as a bell in your communication. People could understand you, and then the results that you desire can be generated. Let's go to principle number 4. Whenever you say what you have to say, when you have to say it, it frees you up to say what you have to say when you have to say it. Whenever you say what you have to say, when you have to say it, it frees you up to say what you have to say when you really have to say it. I know it's a long one, so we're going to shorten it down and call it the keep freedom in your communication principle. The keep freedom in your communication principle. When you practice saying what you really have to say, it becomes a habit and it keeps you free in every conversation, tough ones and easy ones. But when you practice not saying what you really have to say, it gets you stuck like a car in the mud. And the more you try to get out, the more you get bogged down in it. You don't want to even put that into your communication where you're not saying what you really want to say. We're going to practice keep freedom in your communication principle. Let's look at principle number 5, the last principle. Until you listen to what you have to say, other people don't have to listen. Now listen, that's a powerful principle. Until you listen to what other people, until you listen to what you have to say, other people don't have to listen. Let's call this principle, if not you, then who principle. The if not you, then who principle. In other words, until what comes out of your mouth is important to you, it should not be and cannot be important to anyone else. Until you are following your own advice, why should anyone else follow it? Until you value the things that come out of your mouth, why should anyone else value it? This is a very powerful and important principle because it's your listening to yourself that gives power to your voice. Our voice grows through listening. So you have to feed your voice listening. I've met so many women who are starving of listening. When they get in public or they get around friends, they talk so much and you can't get them to shut up. These are the women that are starving from listening because they don't listen to themselves. You are going to put into practice the if not you, then who principle. That's all about listening. Now, this is what I want to say. I want to say go out and invite other women to join this powerful movement. Make it your movement because it really is Ultimate Woman. It's time to transform average into ultimate. No more average for me. You need to say that to yourself. No more average for me. You are going to be working not just to transform the average into ultimate, but transform the average into the supernatural. There are supernatural things that can happen for you, but the view that you've been working with ain't gonna bring it, ain't gonna cut it, baby. I'm excited. I look forward to talking to you again. Look, until then, keep the source in your life. Stay focused on what's positive. Don't just believe in yourself. See yourself from an ultimate view. When you see yourself from an ultimate view, you see what is truly possible for you. Later.